Hi guys, what's up and welcome to my new YouTube channel. This is going to be my very first video on the channel, and in honor of that I was like, why not make an introduction video? Why not get you to know me as I decide to do this. My first thoughts of this were that I wasn't sure what I wanted my first video to be, but I just wanted it to be so perfect, and I almost I think this is my biggest stressor, is I don't know what to film, and I want it to be something that kind of just centers around me, I guess you could say. I want this video to be something that centers around my life, who I am, but also just kind of a little bit of everything. I don't do, gosh, how can I say this? I've had such a hard time deciding what I wanted to make my channel be about, or what I wanted to make this channel be. I've known for years that I wanted to do YouTube and that I wanted to make my own YouTube channel. I just had such a hard time with starting and being consistent. That is probably my biggest my biggest thing that I've had such a hard time with, is the thought of the consistency of doing it. But it's I was making it much more of a chore and a task than just filming whatever I want and making it whatever I want. My biggest fear is who would really want to watch little old me do her YouTube videos? And then on top of that, everybody talks about how they're so afraid of what they're people they grew up with seeing, or the friends seeing this, and I'm honestly, all my friends, all of my current friends as of right now, would love to have YouTube channels. They would love to just start and get out there, and they want to make podcasts and stuff like that, and I think that'd be so fun for us to do together. But I also wanted to have my own channel, and I wanted to do this for such a long time, and now this is me, taking my first step and actually doing it. I have grown up and I've never really seen girls or people who are more like me, per se. Yes, like me. Yes, that is definitely everywhere. I've seen so many content creator girlies who are black and beautiful, and they know how to embrace that. However, I have grown up consistently being told that I'm not black enough, or that I'm not white enough, or that I'm just too whitewashed for everybody. And so it's just been hard to find people who kind of exist in that same mindset and that same space as me, and who have been consistently struggling to fit into all these different spaces that you feel you could be a part of, and that you resonate with, and stuff that you just enjoy, So for me, that is really why I wanted to make my own channel and kind of just showcase my own life, because I feel my life is a little different. I feel I do things differently than other people, and then I'm a different person, and we're all different, nobody is the same person as somebody else. And I feel embracing that, and I feel embracing who you are and kind of just showing off hey, I'm me and I don't really care about it, is a big deal. And I think this is going to be my way of kind of just allowing my life to be my life. Window behind me, I'm just not realizing, was open. I originally set you on my windowsill, and I realized my windowsill was wet, and I was like, oh, why is it wet? Now I'm understanding why it's wet. This window's open. This window's been open since we moved into this apartment complex. That's crazy. Moving on. Let us get started now. So to start off my channel, I wanted to give you guys kind of 10 facts about me, 10 things that you can know about me, so that way you can really decide hey, do I like this girl? Is she cool? Is she one of us? Is she just like me, So I want to give you guys 10 little things about me. They're pretty some of them are open-ended, some of them are really close-ended, very simple things. So I just kind of want to give you that overview, that thought process of being who is this Sydney girl, and why should I watch her channel? Why do I like her? Why, who is she? But that's why we're gonna decide if we're friends today or not. So yeah, let me get started. I wrote these all down on a piece of paper. I was oh, I'll just be able to translate it over to my phone later. That did not work out. That did not happen. So you know what? Piece of paper is what's gonna win today. So number one, let's get started. Number one, I am 22 years old, and I grew up in Milton, Florida. If you don't know where that is, which most people don't, which is why I don't normally tell people Milton, Florida, I am from Pensacola, Florida area. Milton is right next to Pensacola. You got Pensacola right here. Milton's right there, attached at the hip. So I grew up in Milton, Florida, but I always tell everybody that I'm from Pensacola, and I've never left Florida. I've never left Florida. Okay, not to like moving wise. I've never moved out of the state of Florida. Pretty much when I turned 18 and I graduated high school, I moved down to Orlando, Florida for college. I was like, oh, Orlando's got more diversity. There's a lot more going on here. Like, I'm gonna love this. And so I came down here for school. My parents, however, have indeed moved. They lived in Milton with me, and then they moved out of state, and then they've like consistently just been doing their own thing, living their lives, which as they should because they're adults. Happy for them. I will say moving down to Orlando goes into my second fact. So number 2, I graduated from University of Central Florida, or UCF. Go Knights, charge on. Yeah, we'll leave that be. And I got my bachelor's degree in business administration with the focus in economics. So technically my degree is in economics, but a lot of times, like depending on what job I'm applying for, I will be like, oh, business administration or economics, depending on what they're really like going for, what they're looking for degree wise. That's what I'll put down. But I'm doing nothing with it. As I said in like this intro video at the beginning of this video, I've worked 2 jobs. Both of the jobs have nothing, I would say nothing to do with my degree in any way, shape, or form. One of my jobs is at a restaurant and the other one's at a theme park. So we're just gonna leave that at that. Moving on to my third thing. My third thing is a little bit more calmer of an idea. It's more fun. I love to read. I love to read. Last year I was tracking all my stuff on Goodreads and I read 43 books last year. And I didn't even like, started my challenge like halfway through the year, maybe towards like the end of June, July was when I really started getting into the reading challenge. And like in the month of like December alone, I want to say I read like 6 to 8 books. Like I read a lot. And so starting off in January, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on top of my book reading game. I'm gonna be like going. I've already read 3 books this month, and it is only January 7th, and I've already read 3 books. So I'm really on top of it, having so much fun with it. When I was in high school, I would read a lot, and then I quickly just kind of like stopped a little bit. Like everybody knows this. I already had the app. I had Wattpad, and Wattpad was like my life for like the next 8 years, from like middle school to the end of like high school to like start of college. Like I had that. I probably just deleted that app last year in 2024, which is kind of crazy. But the amount of fan fictions I read, Harry Potter, Teen Wolf, like any anime fan fictions that I read, like I love them. They brought me so much joy. But now I'm relearning how to like have joy with like regular books as well. So last year I deleted Wattpad and finally started like getting back into reading regular books. So that was a lot of fun. I will say that I'm super happy I made that decision and I made that choice. And so right now I'm loving getting back into like fantasy books, romance books, murder mysteries. Like those are my top. I will say I just ordered a book. It was about like the courage to be disliked. So that's gonna be my first like self-help book I'm gonna read and kind of just use that in life. I ordered off Amazon. It should be here Saturday, so in the next few days. But yeah, so that's super cool. Love to read. My goal this year is to read 75 books, and I'm already at 3, and it's the first month, and it's like the first 7 days of the month. I'm super excited. I think I'm gonna do good. So moving on from that, my next thing is I love photography and journaling. So last year I made like a scrapbook journal. At first when I was like trying to do it, I was trying to do more like junk journaling vibes, but I realized that I want to connect it with like memories. And so for me, memories is photos. I love taking photos of everything I go to, no matter what it is. I take photos, I'm happy with it, and then like I'll print them out on like a piece of paper, and at the library print a bunch of photos out, and then I'll like scrapbook a little bit of it. I'll have some photos. Like I love scrapbook journaling. I think it's super cute. I had these giant scrapbooks when I was younger that my mom would put together from like when I was growing up, and I love looking at those. I think those are the best memories. But now knowing that I can put a little bit more to it, like a little bit more of like the receipts from something I bought, or like a picture from like this food that I got, like I can make it more of my own and more catered towards me. I love doing that. And so this year, this is actually where I have my journal. I am kind of mixing it up and making it a little bit more of like a mix of a bullet journal vibe and a scrapbook journal. I had a very hard time bullet journaling when I first started to do it. Like the structure of it, it was just too like everyday type, really like on top of consistency, and that's not me. That's not me at all. I love a good like mix of photos and also like everything going on. Like I do a lot. I want to be able to showcase everything I do. So this is kind of like the first intro page to my journal. I'm gonna do later on more in depth of like journaling, book journaling, a little bit of everything, because I want to incorporate like books into my journal as well. And that is also like, I want to incorporate a little bit of everything into this journal. So like I have a monthly like birthday tracker a little bit, and like important dates tracker in here, and then also like my resolutions, and then a savings tracker because I have a goal for my savings account this year, and then of course my vision board early on into this journal. So yeah, I love journaling. That's gonna be a big thing of this year. Another like a little bit more of a quirky thing leads us into number 5, which is that I crave sunlight and being in the water. I thought about that and I was like, I really thought about that one, and I was like, how can I incorporate like all of this into one thing? So when I say I crave sunlight, I mean like being in front of the sun, being underneath the sun, it energizes me. When I tell you I could never live in like one of those places where during the winter it is completely overcast all the time, because of the fact that like I would heavily get seasonal depression. The sun, like even when like the few days it is overcast here, I struggle. I do struggle. I will say one day I plan to move north, a little bit more north, to where I can see more of a changing seasons, because you know in Florida we don't really have that. I do plan to experience that at least like at some point in my life, just not yet. But yes, definitely as of right now in my unmedicated time of life, like not being in the sun or like being out in the water, like, and I mean like by the beach, sometimes in my bathtub. The bathtub, no, doesn't really get a lot any sunlight, but I love just like soaking in the bathtub, soaking in the water at the beach, laying on the sand at the beach, reading a nice good book. Like that is everything to me. I love beach days. And I will say I am slowly filling up a swimsuit collection. It's nothing crazy because I don't think that's really me to spend all of that money. I just bought a new one from Dippin' Daisies, and when I tell you the painful reminder that those bathing suits total on sale end up being like $60 something, that hurts. I genuinely can't believe I just spent that much money. I'm very excited to get this bathing suit. When I tell you I'll be going on a no bathing suit shopping spree for like this year. I don't need any more bathing suits this year. Like if it happens, it happens, but I don't need any. I love cute prints, so I think that's like really fun, but other than that, unnecessary for me. Moving on from that, this number 6 one I put in here because I genuinely couldn't really like think of too much, but then I have bonus ones at the end, so whatever. But I love like beauty and fashion, but not to the extent of most people anymore. Like I love athleisure, but I also love like super cute like fall clothes types vibe. Like I don't know how to explain it. My dressing style is kind of all over the place, but also so Floridian that it's not even funny. And if you don't know like the Floridian like dressing style, then like I don't know how to explain it to you. It's just like think summer and thinking clothes, summer clothes all the time. So like even right now it's cold, so I'm wearing a sweatshirt because sweatshirts are also part of like the summer aesthetic type vibe. In my head, like this fits the mold, but I don't know how to explain it, but I love that. But what I'm really wanting to like do with my own like industry, my own like my creations of stuff, is not focus on like the lifestyle, the beauty or fashion industry. Like I will, of course, I feel like I'm gonna make videos here and there that are like are centered around those things, but the main thing that I'm interested in is lifestyle. I'd love to let people know about my lifestyle because I feel like I don't feel like I have enough people who talk about their lifestyle and what their goals are with that, like eating healthy, going to the gym, which like I definitely don't do, so hands up on that. But I don't know, just kind of like life in general. Like life is so different for everybody, so yeah, lifestyle. I'm not explaining anything else, but just keep repeating what I'm saying. So next, my number 7, let's talk about travel. So one thing that I really plan on doing this year is getting out and kind of just going and doing what I want to do, especially in the travel space. So I have a few like top places I've never been before that I really want to go, and like number 1 is Washington DC. I've never been to Washington DC. I feel like that's so surprising to be 22 years old and never been to that area, because like living in the States, like should you not take a field trip to see the Capitol at some point in your time? You should. I never did. I never did. I like Washington DC, New York, never been to either of those places. I feel like those are most people's like bucket list places, but for this year, for my birthday, my boyfriend said we would go to Washington DC and like get an Airbnb and like have so much fun, because that's something I've always wanted to do, and I feel like for my birthday it just makes it extra special. So that's our plan. Let's see if we actually hold through with that. Let's stick to that. but we also want to go to like Barcelona, London, and Hawaii. So that's not necessarily all this year plans. Like this year I will say we'll probably do like Washington DC for my birthday, maybe a cruise for his birthday, and go from there. Keep it a little simple, but actually take the time to do something this year and go somewhere, because last year all we did was go back and forth to my parents and go back and forth to his parents. That was it. Sad. But this also goes into my number 8. I'm a creature of habit. I will do the exact same thing every single week if I can. Like I don't change it up super often. I am genuinely working on getting out of that, because life is too short to be doing the same things all the time. But I do like consistency. So it's like I work 2 jobs, as I said before, and some weeks like I'll have a day off, some weeks I won't have a day off, and I don't ever know about that up until it happens. And on top of that, like some days like I will be working in the morning, other days I'll be working at night. Like there's no real consistency or pattern to that, so I have no idea what's going on at the time. Like 2 weeks in advance, yes, I kind of have an idea. Once it gets up to that week, my mind's just like exploded, because so much is probably going on that it's like, dang. So yeah, every other like time when I do get the chance, like I will do the best I can to not have change in my life. Like a little bit of change is fine, a lot of bit of change is not so fine. Like I really want the 9-to-5 job. I know a lot of people don't say that. I want a 9-to-5. Give me a 9-to-5. A 9-to-5 will make me so happy, because that's consistency, and then I have 2 consistent days off, or like every other Saturday I'll have to work. Like that's totally fine by me. Hire me. I will work my butt off, because I want to keep that job. I want that job. But I digress. Still got it. It's fine. Number 9 as well. This one is a little bit like deeper of a conversation, and it's something that I'm genuinely working on. I've just like trying to unlearn patterns that I've slowly been like kind of taught in my life, but I have a very hard time maintaining relationships with people. My boyfriend is like, he's like a fly on the wall. Like he's never going away. Like we're a little codependent on each other, and that kind of helps a little bit, but it could also be a little bit dangerous for our relationship. But I have a very hard time maintaining relationships, and this is more so like friendships, and it's keeping up with people, like just constantly texting them back, or just like responding or checking in on people. Like I will say the person I've probably kept up with the absolute most, who I don't see all the time, like because you know she lives in New York. I know, hear me out on this, is my friend Caitlin, and we met at the restaurant I work at still. And then she was great. We got to know each other with like a few months leading up to her leaving, like probably like the last year leading up to her leaving. We got to hang out, like really get to know each other. I love her. I think she's absolutely amazing. She's like such a good person, and she's so helpful, and I genuinely like really appreciate her as a friend. But she left to go to law school in New York, which like thank goodness, I'm super proud of her. She's doing amazing. But I will say one thing that she said to me before she left, which like was genuinely like my pushing point to really keep up with her, was she was like, Sydney, I think you're the only person who I'm really fully gonna keep in contact from this restaurant who still like is here, who's in Orlando. She's like, you're the person I'm gonna keep up with the most. And I was like, you know what? I will be making that effort with you as well. Like I will genuinely be making that effort. I think my biggest fear with it, with making the effort for other people, is that the phone works both ways. And I was like, if at some point I really tried to keep up with you, but you didn't do the same, then why am I still trying, you know? And it's like, I've had a hard time making friends in general, just because like, not because I can't talk to people for the life of me. I can talk to everybody. Trust me, I can talk to everybody. It's the fact that I have a hard time talking in a way that like doesn't fully offend people. I kind of just say the first thing that comes to mind, which isn't always a good thing, but isn't always a bad thing, you know? Sometimes that's great. But then on top of that, sometimes I just like, I don't like people, and I kind of judge them a little bit first into the conversation and meeting them. And I've always wanted to be like with the cool people and never with the weird people, but like I'm weird myself. Like I was in a band for goodness sakes, but you know, some of the band people were cool. But that has been one of the things that has forever haunted me. But like, as I said, like I'm really working to like keep up with people and really text them more, hang out with them, like be like, hi, do you want to go do this with me? Like I have a hard time with thinking that people inconvenience me for like the longest, for like when I was living in my old apartment without my boyfriend, just like with my roommates or whatever. One of the things that I was always like, oh, I want to hang out with people, but to like just for an hour. Like I want to be like, hey, do you want to go hang out by the pool for like an hour? I want to do that, but I want them to be ready like as soon as I'm ready. I want to be ready like right now. And a lot of times people aren't ready as soon as I want to go do it. They want to take their time, they have to get ready, then you gotta give them a minute to get over there. And that is like such an inconvenience to me, because like what if I only have an hour? And like I could have probably messaged them in the morning, but sometimes it doesn't like click in my head that I want to do that until right when I want to do it. And when I want to do it, I want to do it right then. I don't want to wait for people. So it's like having to acknowledge that not everybody can work on my time, and that I have to let them do like take a minute, get ready, is something that's really hard for me. I want a friend who's like ready to go do something with me, but you know, I also have to be mindful of that everybody's busy as well. Life does continue for everybody else. So that's a huge thing as well that I'm thinking of. But yeah, that one was a little bit big. Sorry, it's a little heavy, but I'm working on it, and it's something that I'm really proud of myself to continue working on, because Caitlin literally came down for the holidays. Super excited to see her. I love that girl. She's amazing. We hung out, we talked, we really caught up, and I always send her like proof of life text so that she'll keep me updated on her life. Love her. But yeah. Oh, and lastly, this one's another like silly one. I don't know why I like did these in the order I did. But my number 10 is that I am on a journey to discover the best Moscato. I love the sweet wine. Absolutely love a sweet wine. And my favorite sweet wine that I found so far is Moscato. But I don't like barefoot. I think it's the most disgusting like Moscato I've ever tasted. Like, oh my gosh. I'm picky about it. Like, I want to find a good one. I don't want to necessarily be a wine connoisseur, but like I care about how my wines taste, and Moscato is just like, oh, so good. My favorite one that I've tried so far was at a place called 60 Vines in Winter Park. They have a beautiful Moscato, which like I bought a bottle of it at one point, and it was so good. I wish I could remember the name of it. And I just started like keeping a log in my phone. But oh my gosh, was that wine so good. And then I had another one that was really good. I want to say the one at 60 Vines is like a 5-star. The one at this restaurant, I want to say it was called Landry's. But I don't think it was Landry's, because I know where Landry's is. But it's like another like similar fish restaurant. But I know. Oh, that's another crazy thing. I'm allergic to shellfish, I think, completely. I know for sure I'm allergic to shrimp. Crab and everything else is like iffy, because I had crab after I found out about my allergy to shrimp, and then my back of my legs started itching, but only the back of my legs. And I was like, oh, am I allergic to this? But I think it was just cross-contamination, because it was a seafood boil place, and they cooked the crab and the shrimp all on the same thing. So I'm thinking it was just like a cross-contamination issue and not an I'm allergic to crab issue. But I haven't had it in so long, so the world may never know. Moving on though. So with my journey to discover Moscato, this other restaurant had like a 4-star glass of Moscato, and it was so good. Not as good as the one I had at 60 Vines, but still really good. And so I'm kind of just, that will be throughout my year. You might see a little thing about me trying out thing on Moscato. And then maybe at the year I'll do like a Moscato wrapped. Oh my god. Like a Spotify wrapped, but for Moscato. Let me not get ahead of myself. I'm already ahead of myself. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for listening to me talk for like 20 something minutes. I don't know how long this video is actually going to be, but thank you so much for letting me just talk and yap and kind of just get to know me a little bit. And yeah, if you want to continue on this journey, you just know what you have to do. You just have to hit that little subscribe button. Or you can hit the alert button. That way you can just kind of get alerts about me, so that you don't necessarily fully have to subscribe. And then you can be like, kind of like her, she's kind of cool. A little annoying, but she's kind of cool. And you know what, I already know this, so it's fine. But thank you so much for watching this first video, and I really hope you got to know me a little bit. If you have more questions about me and my life, feel free to ask them. I think that'd be really cool if you ask them. I would love to answer them, and let's really hope, like I'm praying, that I can keep the consistency that I want in this. And yeah, thank you so much. I really hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.